John Franklin is the mayor of Vista. He was one of the mayors there yesterday to give us some perspective. Mayor Franklin, thanks for spending time with us. What are these families looking for? What specifically are they asking for?
Well, in short, they just wanted to be heard. They wanted to tell the story of who their children were, and they wanted to ask questions, and they want some answers. They want to know why the last of their children's effects have not been returned to them. Things like the SIM cards that were withheld and cell phones that were withheld. Every service member that was in theater came home with their phone, with their SIM cards, but those who died that day, the 13 who died, a lot of their final effects have not been returned. They have not had questions answered directly, and they had some pretty pointed words for the administration, and they wanted to be heard about that as well.
Yeah. Hey, Mayor, it's Mike Slater. So two things stood out to me, and I want to see if you agree, and you can add a third. The parents saying that they have been lied to about the circumstances of their kids' deaths and how they died and being told they died immediately, but there's proof that they didn't, stuff like that. And then also how ranging somewhere from awkward to heartless was the personal response from the commander-in-chief. Do you have any thoughts on those, and then anything else that really stood out to you?
The stories that the families heard from their combat brethren that served with their children and their spouses that died, the stories they heard from their comrades was very different than the one that the DOD gave them as the official narrative that accompanied their deaths. And it very much looked like the administration was trying to downplay and reduce the appeal of the story to try and stop the public from talking about this.
There was a mom there, Mayor Franklin, that testified, quote, "We were told lies. We were giving incomplete reports, incorrect reports." And I guess those of us listening to this, I imagine in the confusion, there could have been a lot of incomplete or incorrect information, but why wouldn't the United States military correct reports after more information was made available? Like what's to gain from the military from keeping things that were clearly incorrect, incomplete?
That's exactly the question that these families are asking, is when the facts came out, why were they not given the answers? It seems obvious that the details, as they became revelations, would have served to tell the story not only of how these service members lived, but how they died. And it seems that somebody in the DOD or maybe the administration didn't want that story to remain in the public mind.
Last question for you, Mayor. What do you say to the people who say, come on, Congressman, this was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, move on. You're just bringing this all up to score cheap political points to make Biden look bad, and you're using these moms and dads as props. Just move on already.
Congressman Issa deserves a lot of credit, and I really appreciate him involving me in this and giving me the opportunity to honor these families. Congressman Issa got a Silver Star for a combat flying ace who served in Korea 70 years ago, and he just got it last year. Whether it's a story that's 70 years old or one that's 2 years old, our service members, especially those who make the ultimate sacrifice, deserve to have their stories told for generations. And so I'm grateful to Congressman Issa for giving these families the platform to tell who their children were, who their husbands and wives were, and to tell the story of their heroism to our country.